everyone, and welcome back to the CTC podcast. My name is Nikki, and today I'll be talking about sensory processing. First, I'm going to explain a little bit about proprioception, sensory processing disorder, and how it can affect your child. Then, I'll show some videos of ways to help increase proprioceptive input for your child, and finish by tying it all together to the bigger picture. There are 7 main sensory systems, and these systems are the building blocks of our central nervous system. In order for someone to attend or complete activities of daily living, the sensory systems need to be balanced and in correct working order. Today, we are going to focus on proprioception, which is our awareness of where our bodies are in space through the input from our muscles, joints, and connective tissues. Decreased proprioception is characterized by uncoordinated movements, falling down often, bumping into objects in the environment, or delay in gross motor activities. There are 3 main subtypes of sensory processing disorder. Today we will talk about sensory modulation disorder and how proprioception ties into it. Sensory overresponsive is also called hypersensitivity, and this is when a child responds to too much, too soon, or for too long to sensory input. Think about a glass of water. The water represents the sensory input. With a kid with hypersensitivity, their glass is constantly full and overflowing with water. On the other hand, with sensory underresponsive or hyposensitivity, they're unaware of the sensory stimulation or there may be a delay in response. These children have a glass that just can't ever seem to get enough water and is never full. With children who are sensory craving, they seek out sensory input, but their bodies do not know how to organize the input, and they become dysregulated. Some kids may be hypersensitive with some inputs and hyposensitive with others. These levels can change based on the time of the day, the activity, or the setting that they are in. Whether your child is hyper or hyposensitive, their bodies are not properly regulated, and therefore they may have a harder time completing tasks required of them. This relates back to the pyramid on the previous slide. There are many ways that OTs provide proprioceptive input during therapy. The following video clips provide some of these ways, along with other ways that you can do similar things shown in the videos at home. One way therapists help to increase proprioceptive input is through heavy work. As you see in the video, the boy is moving objects around the room. A way to incorporate heavy work at home is to have your child rearrange the furniture. To make heavy work more fun, you could also include a map of how you want the room set up and let the child do all the pushing, pulling, and lifting to move the furniture within their limits of their abilities. Army crawls are another form of heavy work. You can have your child army crawl to gather materials for a project you're doing or to get from one location to another. This is called an acrobat swing. While you may not have one of these at home, you can get similar input using a hammock. In addition to the input from the fabric, having your child lay across the hammock and weight bear through their arms will provide input into their elbows and shoulders. Animal walks, such as bear crawl or crab walk, are also ways to get proprioceptive input through the joints during gross motor movements. You can play a game with your child which incorporates animal walks to get from one location to another prior to mealtime if they're a messy eater or prior to a tabletop activity. Walking on their knees will provide input. This is called the awkward penguin walk. Somersaults are a great way to get both proprioceptive and vestibular input. However, not every child knows how to do one or feels comfortable doing one. To help your child do a somersault, use an object like an exercise ball to help them roll over top of, as he's doing in the video. Any exercise that involves jumping or stomping will provide proprioceptive input. Here he is doing jumping jacks to and from a location. You can just do jumping jacks while stationary in one spot, do heavy stomping, jump on a trampoline, jump rope, jump from one couch to another couch and then crash into pillows, or just jump on a mattress. Kicking a ball in this position is called supine flexion, and it helps with core strengthening as well as proprioceptive input. To do this at home, have your child sit on the ground and bring their legs and head and arms off the ground. They should keep their knees together and kick with both legs at the same time, holding this flex position. A more challenging position for supine flexion is to have them kick a ball up in the air while you're standing, again making sure they keep their knees together. This position is called prone extension. To do this, tell your child to lay on their belly and bring their arms and legs up off the ground like Superman. When you roll the ball to them, they should be using both hands at the same time to push the ball back to you. This position may be hard for your child, so make sure to take rest breaks throughout. Once your child's body is regulated from the heavy work and proprioceptive input, you can transition to using Theraputty prior to handwriting or any tabletop activity. Theraputty has several levels of resistance, and it works on providing proprioceptive input to the fingers as well as strengthening. You can have your child roll it out with their hand, twist it, pull it apart, use their fingers to spread it apart, or pinch it with their fingers. To make it fun for your child, you can have them make shapes, letters, or spell out their name, find small objects within the putty, or build something. If they are having difficulty with the motor planning of how to make these shapes or designs, be sure to give them a visual to work from. To have distal mobility, a person must first have proximal stability. Okay, what does this mean? Distal mobility refers to the ability to write and use our hands and feet. Proximal stability refers to our core and posture. To have good handwriting skills or complete any fine motor tasks while seated at a table, our trunk and core muscles need to be activated to hold us upright and have proper positioning and posture. While it may seem like we just play games with our gross motor activities, they're actually very important for your child to be able to attend during these tabletop activities. Speaking of stability, if your child has difficulty stabilizing their pencil in their hand, one way to help is to wrap a hair tie around their wrist and then twist it onto the top of the pencil. This will hold it tight to their hand and allow them to have appropriate pressure and movements when writing. Just to reiterate, proprioception is the awareness of our bodies in space. Some kids are proprioceptive seekers and exhibit the signs listed below that. Others have low registration to the input. Both types of children require lots of proprioceptive input to be able to attend and function to their best abilities during seated tasks. You can incorporate any of the activities shown in the videos with your child at home to help increase their proprioceptive input and awareness. Here are some links to resources that can provide additional activities to incorporate proprioception into your child's day at home. That's all I have today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out my video in the next few weeks to come.